Hey guys, welcome to the Deansy Boy Show. I am your host, Reece Deans. I am back with another podcast episode for you and for you truly. And let's just get right down to the chase. I got two topics to discuss about, and one of them is the first one is going to be about the UK title tournament that just recently happened over the weekend. And the second one will be about Kurt Angle. So the first topic I would like to discuss is that we've just recently had the conclusion to the WWE UK title tournament, in which the one and only Tyler Bate has successfully won the tournament and the belt by defeating the favourite Pete Dunne. I'm really pleased for Tyler Bate, in all honesty. He has been a phenomenal professional wrestler. He's been excellent in the tournament and does deserve the recognition he has received from not just from the fans, but from WWE, especially the likes of Triple H, William Regal and Finlay. All in all, I believe the tournament has given the WWE respect back through not just the storylines, but the wrestling they produced and the atmosphere that was coming from the fans. You know, the British wrestling was shown perfectly to the whole world and not just America itself. The tournament couldn't have happened without Triple H and William Regal. I'm giving a lot of credit to both men because they are now developing new forms of wrestling, and especially what shows they are producing, what they're giving us, the fans, and what we want to see and what we want to have in the WWE ring. Because recently, you know, we've had so much dilemma and problems with the WWE with the extending of storylines, especially the writers, how they're writing, especially Vince McMahon, who thinks this is right for business, but in all reality it's not. And especially that when I talk about Vince McMahon, you know, he's always the head of the business, of course, blah 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 blah, but he also controls the commentary, you know, the commentators, especially for Michael Cole. Now, I've always criticised Michael Cole for his stale commentating, you know. He was always blunt. He was always reading the script, and he was not generally being himself. He was always listening to Vince, and he was reading the script. He was like, "Oh my, what's this?" But no, when I was watching it, I kept hearing Michael Cole just letting it all go. The commentating was fantastic, and I think he was given the freedom he deserved by Triple H, and he gave us some quality commentating, along with Nigel McGuinness, who worked so well with Michael Cole. You know, it was just the first time these two were going to work with each other, and they done it perfect, you know. I mean, okay, some of you may think, well, not really perfection, but I mean, when I was listening to Michael Cole, you know, all I kept hearing was no blunt, no straight on same voice texture, you know. He was showing a lot of emotions, a lot of things that you wouldn't normally see on Raw, you know. So I gotta give that a thumbs up, you know. So well done for the commentators, and well done to Triple H and William Regal. The wrestling itself, I wasn't disappointed at all. I thought every single match was done well, and it showed off what the wrestlers could do. I mean, I have seen Pete Dunne, Mark Andrews, Wolfgang, and Tyler Bate at many different independent circuits, many house shows before, especially in Attack Pro Wrestling and ICW, and their technique and style, what they do in the ring outside the WWE, was not even altered when they done this tournament under WWE rules and regulations. So the wrestling just stood out, and it showed a lot of how can I put this, a lot of technique, a lot of strength, a lot of style, a lot of emotions, just perfect wrestling. Perfect British wrestling, without a doubt. The wrestler that stood out for me was Pete Dunne. Not only because he was the favourite to win, even though he didn't win, but the fact is that he was developed as this intimidating bruiserweight heel, you know, who goes against the rules and does it his way, which I really liked because it was keeping the same character that Pete Dunne always puts on wherever he goes, whether it's in Progress Wrestling, Attack Pro, PCW, whatever, you know. It just kept to the same Pete done that we know as a heel, as we respect. I've seen what he can do in the ring before the tournament, and I wasn't all worried in what was going to happen. I can guarantee that the WWE will one day sign him, and hopefully they'll use him properly. I think under the guidance of Triple H, I think they'll do that. But Triple H, in my opinion, is the reason why majority of the hardcore fans are still tuning into WWE, because he brings a new formula, and always brings back some of the old techniques, or like I say again, an old formula, and he mixes it together to develop this new product, which isn't bad at all. I mean, he's worked so hard to make wrestling important again, and I do consider him a better promoter or producer than Vince McMahon, because Vince McMahon, I think he's just stuck in his own bubble. He thinks that keeping the same style, the same formula every now and then, or every time, that is, we're seeing Roman Reigns being this new John Cena, and when John Cena was being this Hulk Hogan, it's just not going to work every single time. So I think that's why Triple H went off and did his own thing with the likes of NXT, the Cruiserweight division, and the UK tournament. So, I mean, if it wasn't for him, I don't think we would have had the Cruiserweight Classic, or the 205 events, or the NXT shows, or even the UK title. I mean, it brings back what wrestling should be, and we got to give the gratitude and appreciation to Triple H, because if it wasn't for him, I probably think it wouldn't have ever happened. I think Triple H would have just been kept back in the backstage doing what Vince McMahon tells him to do. And of course, pushing Triple H to one side, and let me bring you back to the wrestlers. The other wrestler that obviously stood out was Mark Andrews. Not because he's Welsh, just like me, and not because he was the only Welshman in the competition, but the fact he put on great matches in such a length of time was outstanding. And the one thing I was hoping to see was Mark Andrews winning it, because if you have a look in the WWE, I know some British wrestlers don't get as much success that they normally would, but if you had to look at some of the British wrestlers like William Regal and Wade Barrett, who both originate from England, they've won the Intercontinental title, they won the European title, tag team titles, etc., etc. The Irish wrestlers, the likes of Finn Balor, Becky Lynch, Finlay, for that matter, they're winning the WWE Universal title, the United States title, the women's title, and then the Scottish wrestlers like Drew McIntyre. Okay, he hasn't had a good push, but he still won belts. But for Wales, we haven't seen many Welsh wrestlers come into the business. When I see not many, I mean, I've heard of Adrian Street, but he made a name of his own by going into, he broke through by making it on his own, apart from World of Sport. He went to America to fight Macho Man Randy Savage, etc., etc. The only recent wrestler, and that's the Welsh wrestler, that I didn't think broke in properly, was Mason Ryan. He was treated as the next Batista, joined the Nexus, and then all of a sudden he just disappeared out of the WWE spotlight. So it would have been really good to see Mark Andrews winning the WWE UK title that way. It's not just overshadowing Wales or Welsh wrestling. It's giving Wales the respect it needs and it deserves, and be up there with the likes of the English wrestlers, the Scottish wrestlers, and the Irish wrestlers. Because right now the Irish wrestlers are getting a better push than the rest of the other countries, or the other wrestlers in the United Kingdom. But with Mark Andrews, I mean, his match against Pete Dunne, it had to be the match of the tournament. Seeing those two in the ring just reminds me of the days where they were wrestling in Attack Pro Wrestling again. The two men always connect, no pun intended, but in the working relationship they had in the ring was fantastic. I mean, as a spectator, it was just phenomenal to watch. Those two just put on a quality match, and I am proud to actually see them develop and wrestle in a WWE ring. So all in all, I hope, fingers crossed, that Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews get to the very top. But if they don't, then they can honestly say, look, I made a name for myself in 2 days in the WWE. You've done that within a year or two. I mean, who does that? Who can honestly just go up and say, yeah, I made a name for myself in the WWE in 2 days? Did you? No. So I'm actually proud of that. The fact that Pete Dunne and Mark Andrews have basically left a mark in WWE. The fans have been brilliant too. You know, the British wrestling fans never disappoint. They brought their own chants, their songs. You know, they let themselves get known. They let others hear what they had to say. So it's good to show off the British style of wrestling, not in just the ring, but outside the ring with the fans, the way they show their passion. And there have been loads of fans, some who criticise, probably just across the pond or in other countries, some of the chants they've done, especially the Ty Dillinger 10 chant when the referee was counting, and especially the one where the ring announcer, he says this is scheduled for one fall, and the fans go, one fall. You know, there's a lot of fans, quote unquote fans out there who criticize that, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a way of change, and it's a new way of having fun in a wrestling event. So we always hear a wrestling announcer say this is scheduled or scheduled for one fall. You know, we hear it so many times, we just think, well, I don't know, maybe we should try something different and make it interesting. So by chanting one fall, I think it's brilliant because it adds excitement and adrenaline and, you know, some fun for the fans, and just get the fans connected in any way. And I think that's the best thing they can do by getting involved. So it just only became interesting when the fans started to repeat the one full line to add excitement. So I say, shut up haters and just get on with it. Simple as. Out of everything of the show, I just thought the UK tournament was up there as one of the top shows WWE has produced. It's been up there with the Cruiserweight Classic. It's been up there with NXT, the 205 Live, and it will develop. I can't promise you it because I don't work for the WWE, but I can hopefully say that it will develop as much along the way, the 205 Live, and it will add a lot of cruiserweight divisions the recognition and respect it deserves. So we got to see more shows. We have to, and we need to see that kind of quality of wrestling again. So Triple H, keep up the good work and give us more. Give us what we want. I got to give it a 10 out of 10 for the UK tournament, not just because I'm British, not because I am British or Welsh, whatever you want to call me, but it's because it was a very, very good tournament and a very good show. The second and last topic, this was in the final minutes, in the last minute, this was put in. And the reason why it was put in, and of course you hear me stuttering or stammering or something like that, but not long ago, it was announced on the news, wrestling news, ESPN, whatever you want to call it, that the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle is going to be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. You know, I've grown up watching Kurt Angle wrestle, and he never failed to disappoint the fans for whatever he'd done in the ring. You know, where he was always good on the mic, he was always good in the wrestling ring, he was a very good technical professional wrestler, and as a person, he was good in general. You know, if you look back on some of the achievements he'd done, you know, he's won many titles and trophies, especially winning the WWE Championship and World Heavyweight Championship, the Intercontinental title, the European title, King of the Ring, you know, and he headlined many pay-per-views, had quality matches against many top wrestlers such as Chris Jericho, Brock Lesnar, Chris Benoit, you know, Stone Cold, Triple H, many wrestlers. And he's won every belt in TNA, and he's always kept sticking to the indies, you know, always wrestling elsewhere to show he's still got the passion. And also, he won a gold medal with a broken freaking neck. That's how much of a badass Kurt Angle is, alright? screw you haters. But there's so much honours and accolades that Kurt Angle has won that it's well deserved for him, and it's worth it that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Two of my favourite matches that Kurt Angle was in had to be, one was Shane McMahon in the Street Fighter King of the Ring. I think it was in 2001. Yeah, 2001, because I was 5 years old at the time, and I don't know how I can remember it. You know what I mean? And Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. Those two matches, for me, were fantastic, and they just told a story from just what they'd done in the ring, or even outside the ring, if you're counting the Shane McMahon going through the plexiglass and everything. You know, I've met Kurt Angle in Cardiff before for this meet and greet, an audience with Kurt Angle, and he was just a nice guy to meet, and I thought he was very down to earth, just meeting all his fans and everything. And I'll tell you a funny story before I tell you this one that I had in mind. When I was queuing up to meet Kurt Angle when he was going to sign the autographs, because the plan was that we come in, we sit down, whoever had a specific ticket. So there was a gold, silver and bronze one, and I think I had the silver one. So when the gold ones finished, then they had the silver ones. So I went up and I queued with a mate of mine, and as we were queuing up, there was this guy who just came over, and he had a camera with him, and he was with his buddy. And then this guy who just came up to Kurt Angle, and he started to cry. I mean, oh my God, he started to cry. Tears literally coming out of his eyes. He was like, oh, this is Kurt Angle. And me and my mates had just started talking to the other guests at this event, and we were just going, oh my God, what the fuck is he doing? Sorry the language, but that's what we're thinking. It was like, oh, at one point we thought, oh, bless him, you know, he met his hero. But at the same time, it wasn't a kid. It was a fully grown man. I think he was older than me. I mean, oh my God, it was mad. It was chaotic. But when I went up to Kurt Angle, he was very kind. He was going, hey kid, how's it going? And I'm going, oh my God, you're Kurt Angle. Just put it this way, you're Kurt freaking Angle. And then I had to ask him this question, because at that time, you know, he had a tumour in his neck, and I thought, how's your neck, Kurt? You know, I've heard a lot of problems. And he went, oh, it's fine, no problem. And then signed the picture, I shook his hand, and then we went off. And then what was going to happen then is that we all sit down, he comes on the stage, or the little podium, and then he starts talking about his days in the Olympics, in WWE, TNA, whatever, just whatever the crowd were going to ask him. And I think as well, when just listening to Kurt Angle, you know, as much as some people have said that he's very slow when he's talking, but just sat there and listening to him, and every single detail, every single word he said, you know, it was amazing, it was interesting, and there was some of the stuff you never even heard or even done research on. You know, it was just amazing to hear such amazing stories of Kurt Angle. And I left the S part like a snake then, just ugh. But anyway, after the Q&A event part, you know, he went back to the little table where he was signing autographs, but this time it was going to be pictures. So we queued up again, and I was in my Barrytown top, and I had a picture with him, and I was surprised that I was actually taller than him. But then again, it could probably be age. But all in all, it was just a fantastic night. And funny enough, when I was at the event, a guy who was sitting in front of me turned out to be Mark Andrews. And I sat there with Mark Andrews, and I had a nice chat with him. I had a picture with him. You know, it was amazing to see Mark Andrews there, and he was getting recognised by Kurt Angle when he was talking about TNA, and you know, he was going, yep, there he is, Mark Andrews, look at that, what's going on here? And as well, I asked him a question as well about his match against Shane McMahon, because I know we've heard a lot, but to me, I wanted to hear a bit more. Was there anything else going on during the time when he was having the match? So I'll leave a link below the video that I asked him the question, so you guys can watch it. So I don't have to go into detail, but that night was fantastic, and it was a pleasure and honor to meet the now first inductee of the 2017 Hall of Fame. I think Kurt Angle again, he does deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, and I wouldn't be surprised that Brock Lesnar would induct him into the Hall of Fame, because he had many encounters and storylines with Brock Lesnar, and they're kind of similar in a way, because both men have competed in amateur Olympic wrestling. They've done a lot of MMA style fighting, and especially professional wrestling. So, and they have similarities, so I wouldn't be surprised. But then again, I wouldn't be surprised if either Chris Jericho, Edge, Triple H for that matter, I don't know, but my money's on Brock Lesnar to induct him into the Hall of Fame of 2017. And for Kurt Angle, he's a well-respected professional wrestler, or Olympian, I should say. And again, he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Oh, it's true. It's damn true. So, that's all I got time for here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. I don't think boys and girls are listening, but that is it. That is it for my podcast show. And I have to just let you guys know that there will be an announcement later on this month in regards to the Deansy Boy Show, but I ain't going to spoil it in any way. There is a change that's going to happen, but I'll let you know within the month. But thanks for watching, or I should say thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to the Deansy Boy Show podcast. I have been your host, Reece Deans, and I'll see you very soon.